I found an old phone in the woods. I should have left it there. I live in a small town surrounded by dense woods. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and nothing exciting ever happens. Most people here live quiet lives, working simple jobs, raising families. But there's something about the woods, something unsettling. People go missing. Not often, but enough that we all know the stories. Hikers vanishing without a trace, campers leaving behind all their belongings like they left in a hurry. And sometimes, at night, you hear things, twigs snapping, whispers carried on the wind. I never believed in that stuff, until last month. The phone in the woods. I was walking home from work late one evening. It was a long shift at the diner, and I decided to take a shortcut through the woods to save time. I had done it before, just a 10-minute walk along an old, barely visible path. I was halfway through when I noticed it. A faint glow, just off the trail. At first I thought it was a reflection, maybe a piece of glass catching the moonlight. But as I got closer, I realized it was a phone. Not just any phone, a flip phone, one of those old ones from the early 2000s, the kind with tiny screens and physical buttons. The screen was cracked, but somehow it was still on. Then it rang. I nearly dropped it. There was no caller ID, just one word, unknown. I don't know why I answered. Maybe I was too shocked, too curious. I flipped it open and pressed it to my ear. Silence. Then breathing, slow, ragged breathing. I swallowed hard. Hello? Nothing. Just that awful wet breathing. And then, a whisper so quiet I almost didn't hear it. Don't bring it home. Click. The call ended. I stood there, frozen, my breath visible in the cold air. I should have dropped the phone and walked away. I should have left it there. But I didn't. I shoved it in my pocket and hurried home. The first message. The moment I walked through my front door, I felt wrong, like something was watching me. My apartment was silent, except for the hum of my refrigerator. I locked the door behind me, tossed the phone onto the kitchen table, and tried to shake off the unease creeping up my spine. Then the phone buzzed. A text message. You didn't listen. My hands went cold, my stomach twisted. I picked up the phone and stared at the screen. The message had no sender, no number. Just those 3 words. I swallowed hard and typed back, "Who is this?" No answer. A few minutes passed. Then another message. "Look outside." I didn't want to. Every part of me was screaming not to, but some terrible morbid curiosity made me walk over to the window. And that's when I saw him, a figure, standing at the edge of the woods, barely visible in the moonlight. He wasn't moving, wasn't doing anything, just watching. The phone buzzed again. "Let me in." I dropped the phone, my breath caught in my throat. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept by the door and backed away from the window, my heart hammering. I wanted to call the police, but my real phone was dead, and there was no way I was using that cursed flip phone again. Minutes passed, then an hour. When I finally looked outside again, he was gone, but the phone buzzed one last time. "See you soon." The nightmares begin. I barely slept that night. Every sound made me jolt awake, bat clenched in my hands. The next morning, I drove out to the deepest part of the woods and threw the phone into the river, watching it sink beneath the surface. I thought it was over. It wasn't. That night, as I was brushing my teeth, my real phone buzzed. A new text. Unknown number. "I told you not to bring it home." My stomach dropped. My vision blurred. I typed back, my hands shaking. "Who are you?" No response. Then an image. It was a picture of me, sitting in my living room, taken from outside my window. I spun around, my breath hitching in my throat, but there was nothing there. Just the darkened glass, reflecting my own terrified face. I called the police. They came, searched the area, found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry. Just a terrified man clutching his phone and babbling about ghost texts. They didn't believe me. But I knew what I saw. The man in the corner. Over the next few days, things got worse. At night, I'd hear tapping on my window. Soft at first, then more insistent. My lights flickered, even when there was no storm. I started waking up in strange places. Once, I found myself standing in my backyard, barefoot, at 3 a.m., with no memory of getting there. And the phone, I started dreaming about it. In my nightmares, it was ringing over and over, and when I finally answered, I'd hear my own voice whispering back, "You let him in." The worst part? One morning, I woke up to find the old flip phone, The one I threw in the river sitting on my nightstand. It buzzed. A new text. You can't get rid of me. I'm not alone. I don't know what to do anymore. I tried leaving town, but something always stops me. My car won't start, or I suddenly feel too sick to drive. And every night, I hear that same whispering voice on the wind. Don't bring it home. I think I understand now. It wasn't a warning. It was a curse. And now it's mine.